Hello everyone, I'm the Weather Dude. Welcome back, and today I give you my November 2020 weather forecast. So to find out more about this month's weather, stay tuned for the whole video and enjoy. If you like staying up to date with the latest weather forecasts and updates, then please consider hitting the subscribe button below. Let's see how fast we can get to 2,000 subscribers. Also, to help this video's performance very much, please consider clicking the like button and sharing this video with your friends. Also, please consider watching the whole video. Thank you. Now let's get on with today's video. Alright, so if we can get this video to 50 likes, that would be great. And we are starting off here with the Nino 3-4 outlooks, because this is a big factor actually in influencing, this is actually a big factor in deciding the weather for November. And as you can see, we are pretty deep into a La Nina pattern here, right? As for November, all right, we are pretty much around 1.6-ish below average on the tropical tidbits. One, as you can see here, about 1.5 below, which is a pretty moderate to almost strong La Nina. All right, so you can kind of see the pattern we're in here. All right, now what this is the maps that I can make, like the climatological data maps. Now, I've taken some of the recent years, so all these years that you see listed here had a La Nina between 1 and 2 Celsius below average. All right, so it's only those moderate to strong La Ninas, kind of like we have now. So I took all those recent years that had a moderate to strong La Nina during the month of November, and this is going to definitely be shown in my forecast as well. So surprisingly, and I actually found surprising that the temperatures in like climatologically all these years listed here actually saw slightly below average for the mid-Atlantic and southeast. But definitely I do agree with is the slightly below average temperatures in the northwest and the north central. But this actually shows above average temperatures, right, through the Great Lakes, through the central and southern plains, and even a little, like we're starting to see some darker oranges, some stronger correlation of above average temperatures in places like Missouri, through Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, where instead of like a half degree to a degree, maybe it's closer to 1.5, 1.75 Fahrenheit above average. So that's something to keep in mind too. All right, I definitely did hint at that in my winter forecast, or my November forecast, sorry, as well. All right, so precipitation wise, all right, it's the same map, same years, just instead of temperature, we have precipitation now. Definitely a lot of above average precipitation for the northwest, no surprise there. But definitely some drier times across the mid-Atlantic and southeast, with some drier times as well in the central, and with a couple spots they do label as above average precipitation, like northern New England, although that may not be the case. All right, but definitely you can see the climatological data definitely helps in this forecast. Now the Weather Channel, this is the Weather Channel's November 2020 outlook, kind of like what they were saying, is north central, northwest pretty much below average temperatures, and pretty much everywhere else is above average that you can think of. Besides the northern and central plains, everywhere else is above average. So the west coast, especially the southwest, we got the east coast, and all these areas here as well, all right, all either slightly above average or even moderately above average. Now, the Climate Prediction Center, let's take a look at them, all right? You got to take all this data here. So Climate Prediction Center, the more opinions we have, the better. Now, for them, they definitely have a warm bias. I'll just put that out there. I definitely think their precipitation maps are a lot more reliable than the temperature maps. That's just me personally. But I do think that wherever you see the white, which is the equal chances, it can pretty much go either way. This is where you would label the cooler air for the Climate Prediction Center, because they tend to have a warm bias at times. So the cooler air for them is in the northwest and north central, and just like the Weather Channel, everywhere else. I mean, the south, the northeast, definitely some warmer times there as well. Anywhere shaded in orange, definitely some warmer times. And precipitation, I feel like it's definitely a lot more realistic. So the northwest is a bit wetter, and then most areas like the mid-Atlantic, the southeast, the south central are all drier. All right. So this is just a preview. Obviously, I'm just showing this before I show my forecast. All right, so stay tuned for that. Now, we're going to go through two more maps, this one and one more, before I get to my forecast. This is the CanSIPS model. Now, I was going to use the CFS model, but I can't actually go back far enough, which is kind of weird, to get November. So the CanSIPS model actually does a pretty good job. Now, sometimes they're a bit off, but sometimes, all right, but sometimes they're also good. So it's kind of like a back and forth model. I mean, you kind of have to look at a lot of data to see, does it line up? And for this, I would say yes. I mean, you got the colder air in the northwest and the north central. All right, most Other places are warmer, which is definitely what a lot of the models and data is saying. And then when you look at the precipitation, it also lines up. Right, the east and the southeast is a bit drier. Meanwhile, the northwest and north central is definitely a bit wetter. So I definitely think that Kansas did a pretty good job at pointing out this month's weather. So let's take a look at my forecast now. Okay, so starting off with my temperature forecast. All right, so starting with slightly above average, definitely for the East Coast. Although I do think, as you'll see in my overall forecast, I definitely do think there could be some very minor cold shots kind of factored in, but I don't think it's gonna be anything to like change the month's weather. Nothing too significant. All right, so for the East Coast, definitely some warmer times. For the South Central too, as well. I definitely think the South Central, because you saw with the climatological data that I showed you pretty much first in the video. You saw the Weather Channel, the Climate Prediction Center, all pretty much hinted at this region being warmer. So that's why I put that moderately above average, that darker orange color, for places like Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, southern Oklahoma as well. And then we have the slightly below average air, all right, which is for the northwest, all right, and then the moderate below average, I should say, so a little bit colder and refined more towards the northwest. So I definitely do think those regions could definitely be on the colder side, as is what it is typically with a La Nina pattern. All right, and here we have our precipitation outlook. Just showed you temperature, now precipitation. And starting with the slightly drier air, that's definitely going to be in place possibly for the East Coast as well. Now, am I saying the whole month is going to be dry? Definitely not. There'll definitely be some storm systems, but overall, it may come out being slightly drier. Same for the South Central and through the Southwest, but I'm also focusing, again, on that same region where we put the moderately warmer air. I think some more moderately dry air as well for New Mexico, Texas, southern Oklahoma, through Louisiana, even Mississippi, which honestly, that may be a relief because we know that the Gulf Coast here with the hurricanes is just, I mean, we've had enough, right? And definitely stay tuned because Hurricane Ada potentially will be hitting Florida and then maybe somewhere else after that. So definitely stay tuned for that other upload as well. But starting with, or actually continuing with our slightly above average precipitation for the Northwest, and then again for the Northwest coast, as you saw in the climatological data, definitely some a little bit more significant precipitation anomalies over there. So moderately above average precipitation for you guys. And last but not least, we have our overall forecast for November. All right, so obviously, as we usually do with the monthly and seasonal forecast here, we're going from top to bottom, aka left to right. All right, so from west to east on the map, top to bottom on the key. I try to make it as simple as possible. So starting with stormy and some rain and mountain snow. Obviously, rain in the lower elevations and snow in the higher elevations for the northwest and the northwest coast as well. Pretty common. All right, definitely see some snow, but definitely could be more than average because definitely you're going to see a wetter pattern for the northwest United States. That light gray, not to be confused with dark gray you see on the bottom, but the light gray for like north central California, central Nevada, and southern Utah. Maybe some arid conditions. Could be a bit, it's right in between the stormy and the dry air. So some stormier times, maybe some drier times, but overall pretty much come out average for those areas. Then continuing with warmer and drier at times for Southern California, or Central and Southern California, Southern Nevada, so like Las Vegas, Arizona, New Mexico through Texas. Definitely some warm and drier times there as well, even into western Louisiana. Then we have some cold shots. All right, so we have some cold shots coming in through the northern plains. All right, even though core of the cold air will be in this region, we could see some cold shots in through the northern plains as well. And then in the central part of the United States, pretty much like the heartland of the country, all right, like right in the middle, we will see some storm systems, but it may come out ultimately drier. So definitely some storm systems, maybe some clippers could swing through. All right, it may turn out a bit on the wetter side, but it's definitely a tough call for this region. But it could come out slightly drier if the climatological data holds true. Now, possible snowfall. Our Great Lakes region, as well as the Northeast, even though it will be drier and a bit warmer, these areas still get snow this time of year. It still will most likely happen. May not be as much as you normally see. All right, but when we get the systems to swing through, definitely some lake effect snow. We'll be talking about that a bit later. Then we have consistent warm-ups. All right, definitely for parts of Mid-Atlantic and the Southeast. All right, kind of like a little ridge we talk about, like the Southeast ridge. Definitely could be a factor as well. All right, because, I mean, the jet stream can sometimes, I mean, like we're seeing right now, we got the jet stream coming down over the west and up over the east. So it kind of like builds like a ridge of warmer air in here. So that could be the pattern as well. And some slightly cooler times for parts of the Ohio Valley. All right, kind of back and forth there as well. And then we have some more lake effect snow for these regions. If we get like in the lake, Great Lakes. So if we get some disturbances to swing through, yeah, definitely going to be a lot of lake effect snow. Definitely some more lake effect snow for those regions. pretty much like a typical November, but as we head through December, it starts to cool down. The water temperatures in the Great Lakes cool down, so the snow gets a bit less. Obviously, you might not expect this normally, but you want the Great Lake waters to be warmer because when the cold air moves over it, that's how you get the snow. You gotta remember, snow can get 4 or 5 inches an hour at times, so we get very heavy snow in these regions. All right, so that was the overall forecast for November 2020. So that was your November 2020 weather forecast. If you enjoyed it, again, be sure to drop a like and share this with your friends and family. And stay tuned because we got potential Hurricane Eta impacting Florida and the Gulf Coast. So that's definitely going to be an exciting video as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am the Weather Dude. Signing off till next time. I will catch you guys in the next video.